Today is day 4 of Valorant Champions, and we have 3 matches scheduled: XSET vs XERXIA, FPX vs KRU, and DRX vs 100 Thieves. A lot of X's in amongst all those. In this video, I'll quickly be recapping each game, mostly focusing on who wins and by how much, but also showing a few of the more exciting rounds along the way. The first match of today is XSET vs XERXIA. At Copenhagen, both of these teams went out after losing their first 2 matches, but for XSET, that was their first ever international LAN, so they were favored going into this game. The maps for this series are Fracture, Icebox, and then Haven. Heading into Fracture, XSET were definitely the favorite considering it's their map pick. Both team comps are weird though. XSET have an Omen solo controller, so no Viper. Meanwhile, XERXIA have a Phoenix. Yeah, a Phoenix on Fracture. I don't know what's happening here. The first little highlight I want to show from Fracture is the true meaning of trigger discipline. So look, it's a minute 24 into the round when the neon comes up here. It does obviously end up dying there, and unfortunately XERXIA lose the round, but he sat there for 30 seconds staring at Zekken before eventually striking and managing to get 2, so that was some pretty insane trigger discipline. And the next round I want to show is again going to be a Phoenix highlight reel. Pretty much, you can see the situation here. XSET had the spike planted, 4v2, now it's only a 3v2, and just keep your eyes on this Phoenix.
This situation, there's the second flash, there's the swing, and there's the kill. They've gotten into a 2v1. They've gotten into this, a 1v1. Fox and Cryo. Fox, half. No way. Forget half. Forget the quarter. He's taking it all.
That stick there is pretty ballsy. And then they end up actually winning another round later in this game because they don't stick, except pushing frantically, expecting them to be sticking, and they just get a free kill. So they win another round by basically just conditioning XSET into thinking that they're only going to stick. Despite those 2 huge plays from the Phoenix that I showed, XSET did end up taking Fracture, although it did end up being a lot closer than I think most people expected, so it was a really good effort from XERXIA, but both Zekken and Cryo just went pretty crazy. Now we've got Icebox for map 2, and it's an odd comp coming in for XERXIA to say the least, with both a Yoru and an Astra. Yeah, they've got an Astra on Icebox. Also, neither teams have a Sage, so this was an unusual match of Icebox to say the least. One thing I want to show from Icebox is this play with the Yoru ult into the Viper pit. Now I saw Lothar do this the other day, I couldn't find the clip though, but watch this Yoru here. He's going to find the Viper, stand directly behind the Viper, then just tell his teammates to shoot at him, and the Viper can just die to his ultimate. It's an insanely good play, and it's one of the smartest ideas I've seen in a long time. And again, Foxes had another insane trigger discipline play. You can see here, he's going to TP into the enemy spawn at 1 minute and 20. And it's just so well played. He waits for the second one to pop up, gets 2 free kills, and TPs straight out of there. Now, XSET did take home Icebox, but that map was scrappy and just not high quality Valorant whatsoever. Zekken again had a great map though, so credit to him. For the series as a whole, XSET were the better team, but I genuinely think that if they play like that again, they're not going to win another match of Champions. For Group C, XERXIA dropped to the elimination match. Meanwhile, XSET will play the winner of FPX vs KRU. And those teams are playing the second match of today. FPX were definitely the favorite going into this one, as they did win Masters Copenhagen, but KRU were never going to go down without a fight. The maps for this series are Icebox for KRU, Bind for FPX, and Ascent as the decider. Headed into Icebox, some minor differences in team comp. FPX have a Raze and Fade, while KRU have a KO and a Sober. There's only one round I want to show from Icebox, and that is from the clutch god himself, Xiao. They need this round to get into overtime. His teammate goes down, it's a 1v3.
Again, the first one comes for free, trying to isolate it, and he pulls it off.
Obviously, it is pretty fortunate that those 2 lined up, but still, this guy is just crazy in the clutch situations. And FPX, after that round, did end up winning overtime and taking KRU's map pick, even though KRU were up 9-3 at half times. This is our second 9-3 curse already in Champions. Pretty unfortunate there for KRU. Now we're moving on to Bind, and since this is FPX's map pick, they look good to close out the series 2-0. Both team comps here look pretty standard for Bind as well. For Bind, I wanted to show off this round, which is round 22. Firstly, Angel has a nice little play here in U-Haul. See that insane flick on the Viper, and he manages to get 2. And something else that I saw, which I thought was really interesting, is that Raze Satchel actually broke the Sky Flash. When you think about it, it's kind of obvious that it would work that way, and it might not be the most practical thing ever, but I saw that happen, and I just found it really interesting. Bind did go to FPX, as expected, although it was a close map, and Zipan just went crazy. I mean, he had 8 first kills, and then both he and Xiao both had 210 plus damage per round. It's pretty wild. Even though they lost, KRU made both maps very, very close, and I think they will be the other team to qualify out of this group, seeing as the rest of the competition is just XSET and XERXIA. So now Group C looks like this, with FPX and XSET facing off in the winners match, and KRU vs XERXIA in the elimination match. Our last matchup today is DRX vs 100 Thieves. Pretty much impossible to predict a winner on this one. Personally, I was rooting for 100 Thieves, but either team could easily win this. Also, 3 100 Thieves players will actually be on the stage today as they've recovered from COVID. The maps for this series are Breeze from 100 Thieves, Fracture for DRX, and Ascent for the Decider. 100 Thieves are pulling out a Cypher and KO for Breeze, meanwhile DRX have a Chamber and a Sky. I want to show this round for Breeze because it is absolutely wild.
Oh my god, RB! He takes Derek down, and now DRX still standing on the verge of this. Stacks does fall, but wait, up. Huh? What? What has just happened? What has just happened? No way!
That was completely insane. This map was absolutely wild. Bang went insane, dropping 35 kills, and the overtime felt pretty much never ending. Asuna had a bit of a rough one, and 100 Thieves had 3 different match points they could have closed out before overtime. Heading on over to Fracture now, DRX definitely favored here, and the only difference in team comps is a KO for 100 Thieves versus a fade for DRX. For Fracture, I want to take a look at this round here, because DRX are going to put an immense amount of pressure on Will here on the chamber. He TB's back, they're chasing after him, but I'm pretty sure what happens is that DRX accidentally stun themselves, and he just barely gets away on the rope, which is pretty unfortunate for DRX, but then the end of this round gets pretty intense as well. Marker gets 2 picks, but then Asuna is able to trade one out as well, so then it becomes a 3v3. DRX got a really nice flank here though, back from B main, and he pretty much wins this round with a really good stun. Even though it's 3v2 and 100 Thieves favor, you can see this stun comes through right here, gets them both, and then they're able to pretty easily close this round out. Unfortunately, 100 Thieves lost Fracture. It was always going to be really difficult as DRX's Fracture is insanely strong, especially their attack side. The whole of DRX looked really good. Their defense did have quite a few gaps in it, which is how 100 Thieves nearly came back with a 9-3 curse, but it just wasn't enough in the end. And as for the series as a whole, I can't help but imagine what would have happened if 100 Thieves did win Breeze. Again, they had 3 match points, could have taken it home, and then who knows what would have happened on Ascent. So now Group D looks like this. DRX have already qualified to playoffs, Furia and Fnatic will play in an elimination match, and the winner of that has to take on 100 Thieves. That's it for day 4. Valorant Champions a little bit shorter today, just because all the games were 2-0s, and tomorrow is the last time we'll see 3 games in one day. But it should be good to see Edward gaming again, as well as all the other teams.